All right, perfect. Well, welcome everyone to our first time home buyer webinar. My name is Dana Wang. I am the Director of Marketing for NOC Development. So we are a developer and builder in the Southwestern Ontario. And I'm very excited to share some insights on first-time home buyer incentives, our home building approach, as well as our current projects. So we have a couple of different sessions in this presentation. And like I mentioned just now, you can have questions during the presentation, feel free to just raise your hand or send me a note in the chat, and I would address them as we go along in this presentation. So, let's take a look. So NOC development. So we've been building homes for more than 10 years, and our primary focus has been in the Windsor surrounding region. We love this market. It's been growing tremendously, and the weather is really fantastic too. So before I start in terms of, the presentation, I'd just like to get an idea. Have you guys, consider purchasing your first home? Can we have like maybe a show of hand or a show of yes or no's? Are you're in the market to look for a new home, or you're thinking about buying a new home in the next while? I'll open up the chat. Okay, we got some yeses from William. Okay. All right. So when you're looking to purchase your first home, there are a lot to consider. I mean, where should I buy this? What are the price point? Do I buy resale? Do I buy pre-construction? What kind of timeline? So there are a ton of things to consider, and we'll go over those details in this webinar here to give you a clear idea in terms, what would you be looking at if you're considering buying your first home in the next 3, 6, 12 months. So before we start, I'd just like to give you a little bit of a background of NOC development in terms of what we do, how do we build homes differently than other builders out there. So we really focus on, when it comes to home building, we really focus on 3 main goals when we build our homes. The first one is we focus on innovative design. And then we focus on superior build quality and exceptional service. So when it comes to our design, we go through many revisions on floor plans, on your exterior design to make sure these homes are optimized to have functional layout and to have optimized for your space, for natural light, for just flow of your everyday lifestyle in that space. The second big focus that we have is we focus on superior build quality. So we use premium material. Very often our standard material that we offer upgrades with other builders. So for example, we use Sherwin-Williams paint, we use porcelain tiles, we use extra wide trim for doors and windows, energy efficiency windows. And we also focus a lot in terms of our design on craftsmanship, making sure these buildings are energy efficient and eco-friendly. Our third focus in our company are offering exceptional customer service. So we offer, you'll be in different point of contact with us when you're purchasing a new home. So we'll be there for you at every step of the way to personalize your home buying experience with very dedicated customer support. We have very transparent communication at every stage of our purchasing process. So from your home design lot selection to your decor appointment, where we guide you through the different selections of your new home, whether you're the bricks, stone, floor, tiles, trim, countertop, cabinets, lots of great options and selection for you. And we're also are very involved in inspection and post-sales warranty services as well. So you really don't need to wait until the end of your carry-on form to submit any of your deficiency items to us. You can reach out to us directly and we'll get that repaired for you as soon as we can. So we take a very hands-on approach to our customer service, and we're very proud of that approach. So I know you're all here to hear more, to learn more about first-time home buyers. So let's dive in there and take a look at what are the the things to watch out for, what are the incentives, what are the options for a first-time home buyer. So when you're buying a home, when you're especially your first home, every dollar matters. So if the government is giving you free money or tax-free money, we want to take advantage of that. So I have compiled a list of first-time home buyer incentives, especially coming from the government. So these are coming from either federal government, provincial, or institution agency that relates to the government to offer these incentives. The first one is you will be able to take advantage of what's called the home buyers plan or the HBP. So if you're putting money into your RSP account every year, typically when you withdraw that money from the account, you would have to pay tax. So this home buyers plan allow you to withdraw from your RSP account up to $60,000 tax-free. So that is a really good option. If you already have savings, you can dip into there to use as part of your down payment of your new home. The second really great option you should consider is our first home savings account. So this is a new option, new program that came out in the recent years. So you can save up to 8,000 a year to a maximum of 40,000 into this first home savings account. So very similar to kind of a tax-free investment account, that these savings are tax deductible and it's also tax-free when you withdraw them. So really great option to consider when you do your financial planning. A third very great incentive coming from the government, aka free money, is land transfer tax rebate. So when you purchase a new home or you purchase any property within Canada, within Ontario, you will have to pay land transfer tax at closing. So this program will allow you within Ontario up to 4,000 in your land transfer tax. If you are in Toronto, you can get up to 4,475, so a little bit higher than the rest of Ontario. And the reason behind this is because Toronto charges what's called a double land transfer tax. So when you get out there, let's say you transact on a property of 500,000, you will pay double the amount of land transfer tax in Toronto, and that is just how the city is set up that way. So you do get a little more when you apply for that rebate. Another really great incentive is not it's a program that's available through CMHC insured mortgage. So instead of a traditional conventional mortgage, you can add a CMHC insurance and your down payment can go as low as 5%. Now, this is a program that's actually available to everybody, but it's especially applicable to a first-time home buyer if you're looking, to maximize your home purchase price and you wanted to have a lot more option. So that is something also good to consider. Now, on the last line of the presentation, and this is the most exciting part of the new home buyers incentive, is there will be a new GST rebate that's been in the works with our newly elected government, that you would get 5% rebate for the new home you purchase for up to $1 million, which means you can get up to $50,000 in rebate of your purchase price. So typically when you get out there and purchase a new home and all of the, if as I say, you ask for a price list from us, the price we gave you includes a 13% HST. So with this new program, the new GST rebate for the first-time home buyer, you will be able to take 5% of that tax back to you as a rebate for any homes for the value up to $1 million. So that will significantly reduce your purchase price at closing, and you can use that for some additional items or savings that you might need for closing. So this is something really, really great that I think the home building community has been really advocating for this program. The details of this rebate hasn't come out yet. However, most of these homes that we're building are longer lead time, meaning it would take about a year to a year and a half to complete. Most likely by then, you already have the details of how to claim the rebate and the framework for that. So by the time you close on these homes, there are very likely that you will be getting a 5% additional back from this GST rebate. So this is a really good time to think about in terms of if you're looking to buy a new home, if you want to think about a new pre-construction, this is a really good time to lock in that good price point today, and then take delivery of the home a year to a year and a half from now. Um, so that's a great program to have. Now, the second biggest question I hear a lot when it comes to first-time home buyers is how much can I afford? How do I determine how much can I afford for my mortgage? So a couple of things to think about. The key thing when a mortgage lender, a bank look at you as a lender is your gross debt service ratio. So what that means is they will look at your total debt, so your total loan, that's including your car loans, credit card, student loans, etc. And then they divide it in with your income, your total household income. And they want to make sure that ratio will be under 39%, under 40%. So in this case, when you're planning to purchase your first home, you want to think about your car loan, you want to think about your credit cards, you want to think about your student loans. And I always get the question from my client, hey, I want to buy a home, but I also want to buy a new car. Can I do it at the same time? The short answer is yes and no. So yes, you could do it at the same time, but when you get out there and get a car loan, it will add to your gross debt service. You will add to that number there. So I will always recommend, think about the amount of loans that you would take before you take possession of your home. If you can, I will recommend, to get your mortgage approved and firm approved first. So, and then you can consider, getting your car loan. So in this way, you can ensure that you can get the maximum kind of amount value for your mortgage. And then usually, the way to qualify car loans, it's a little different. So you want to make sure you can qualify for your mortgage, the amount of the mortgage you're looking for first. So long story short, so I would recommend, confirm, focus, work on your mortgage first. And then once, if there's extra room, you can talk to your mortgage broker if there's extra room, and then consider your car loan. So prioritize your mortgage if you're looking to purchase a new home. There are tools online that you can calculate your gross debt service ratio. You can calculate your affordability. There's a really good one on CMHC's website and also on the bank tools. We can also send that calculator out to you. I think we have one on our website. And then another thing to consider in terms of affordability of purchasing a home is to consider your down payment. So your down payment can go as low as 5%. I would usually recommend my client to consider a 10% down payment because in the event, let's say, mortgage rule changes, having that 10% availability will give you a lot more flexibility than just, pushing on that 5%. 5% threshold there. So consider at least 10%, and maybe if you can, 20% of your down payment. One of the really good things about pre-construction homes is that we actually help you to save your down payment through the deposit structure. So for instance, right now, most of our deposit structures are 8-month deposits. So we're taking, between 5 to 10,000 per month. And that is kind of a deposit saving that actually goes to your down payment at your closing. So in that case, in a way, we're helping you to build up that down payment over the period of eight months or even to a year to before your closing. So that's a really good option to consider. And then lastly, consider, having some emergency fund in case, there's an emergency situation, have some of those funds available as well. So let's talk a little bit about mortgage because that's a big part of when you're purchasing a new home. It really determines what kind of budget and price point we could go to. So a few things to consider when it comes to mortgage. Number one, you want to think about the rates. There are usually two types. There are a fixed rate mortgage where you pay the same rate throughout the term. And then there are a variable rate mortgages, which basically means the rate floats with prime. So the prime rate will essentially be, let's say we'll go on to TD or RBC. They will post, their prime rate, and it will fluctuate with central banks announcements. A really good idea to understand is, term versus amortization. I hear some confusion sometimes with my clients. So the terms is really how long you're locking down that mortgage for with that lending institution. So typically it goes between 1 to 5 years, and depending on the rate, depending on the variability. We these days we see a lot of 3 year fixed rates, but in the past we also see a lot of 5 year variable rates. So that really like the best choice will vary depending on the market condition. So that is the best a conversation to have either with your bank like your bank specialist or your mortgage broker. If you do look for need a referral, reach out to me. I would love to share some contact with you. But it is something to determine what's the best term to have your mortgage. And then amortization is essentially how long you would amortize, you would spread that mortgage payment calculation over. And usually it's about 25 years. I have seen some banks, it can go up to 30 years if the home is built with energy efficiency structure. So essentially, what you need to know is the longer the amortization, the uh, the lower the monthly payment. So if bank offer the same rate, 30 years versus 25 years, 30-year amortization will give you a lower monthly payment. Another question I get a lot is the open versus a closed mortgage. Most of the case we see are with our clients are closed mortgage. So these are closed within a term. And if you, let's say, sell your home before the term ends, there's some kind of a penalty. If it's an open term, it's a lot more flexibility, so there's no penalty, but usually the rate's a lot higher. So what we usually see is client would choose a closed term mortgage, and if you need to sell your home or make adjustment before, the term date, then you would just cover the penalty. Or you can just time your kind of your timing that if you're looking to sell your home in the future, you can just sell it at the end of the term, which there won't be any penalty on the terms there. Another thing to consider is stress test. So when you go to the bank and work on a mortgage, the bank what will do is they will take the current rate. I believe right now you can probably see 4.5. I've seen some cheaper rates that goes to like 3.99, and they would do a 2% stress test. So basically, it allows you, in the event if the interest rate does go up, then you still be able to cover that payment. So it's a little bit kind of a stricter mortgage environment, but typically they would do a stress test just to make sure you can cover your mortgage payment in the event like interest rate rising. So that's why I've been advocating to all my clients is that when you are out there looking for a new home, your mortgage is very, very important. So make sure you work on that first and get an idea in terms of how much you can qualify for before you get into some additional credit card debt or car loans. A really great rule of thumb, if you just want to get an idea in terms of how much mortgage I can get in today's environment, is you can take your household income and you can multiply that by 4.5 or 5 times. And that is like a rule of thumb that roughly in today's environment, that's how much mortgage you will be able to qualify for. However, I do recommend to sit down with a mortgage broker or like a bank advisor just to go over your detailed profile because they do have different ways you can qualify for incomes and qualify for costs that might give you that additional mortgage value that you're looking for. So to summarize, super, super important to start talking about or exploring mortgage options. Now, just a quick, I guess, point is that when you purchase a pre-construction, we do not require you to have a mortgage pre-approval right away. That actually usually comes 3 months before closing. but I do recommend all of you to get out there and just get a good sense of what kind of mortgage terms would you be, looking or might be getting into, so that you have a good idea in terms of what will look like a year from now when the homes are ready. And most likely, I think based on the environment, based on the news I'll be reading, most likely by the end of the year, you're going to get a cheaper interest rate, which means, your mortgage payment, it'll be a lot more favorable term than what we might be seeing today. So any questions before I move forward? Okay, great. So now let's take a look at, different housing options. If, okay, I have now I understand my mortgage. There's so many different homes options out there. Like what is the best for me? So I put a chart together just to help you understand. The really big part is to consider is your timeline. So when you go out there and get a brand new, okay, a pre-construction home, usually it takes about 10 to 12 months to get that build. Versus, let's say, if you go into the resale market and to buy a home that's already been built, usually closing time for those will be, 2 to 3 months. So really depending on what kind of timeline you're looking for to move in to determine the type of homes. Obviously, we also have options for quick closing homes. So those are usually homes already under construction. You get to choose some of the finishes, but some of these already, the structure has already been done. And then you can have those ready for closing in about 3 to 6 months. We do have some options like that if you are looking for quick closing homes in our communities. A really big feature I like to highlight is the customization options. So when you buy a brand new home, you can customize all the details from the exterior, from the brick color, from your door colors, interior paints, cabinets, countertop, flooring, tiles, everything can be customized to your liking. Versus when you go in the market and look at a resale home, I say you really like this cute little bungalow, but you're not really a fan of the kitchen. Well, when you get out there and purchase that home, and if you wanted to renovate the kitchen, you have to come up with additional cash for the renovation, and so those would not be factored into your purchase price and into your mortgage. However, when you purchase a brand new home, let's say you want a certain type of kitchen cabinets or countertop, those can all be customized and even upgraded into the home. And when you close, those costs are added to your mortgage. So essentially, depending on your down payment, let's say if you do 20% down payment, you're only paying 20% of the quote unquote renovation costs. Versus when you get out there and buy resale, you have to come up with additional cash, 100% additional cash to do any renovation to bring the home into the way that you like. So that's why we see a lot of new young couples. They love to they love to have their first home as a brand new build, because you can really get out there and personalize and customize every details of that first home. So we're excited to do that for you. And the last a few things, is your deposit and timeline. So so you'll be looking at 10% deposit over the next 8 months, 8 to 12 months, versus when you buy resale homes, basically you need to have your deposit ready as soon as agreement is firm, because the closing time is 2 months, 2 to 3 months. So you need to come up with that cash much faster versus when you come and buy a pre-construction, you can just save up your deposit over 8 months period, which is a lot easier on your cash flow. The last thing, mortgage approval, which is especially applicable in this environment. So if you get out there and buy a new home, you probably have to go out there and lock in the mortgage rates today. It is a very favorable rates already. I think you're looking maybe like 4.5 or 3.99 for 3-year fix. However, given the expectation interest rate is coming down further, when you buy a pre-construction, you only need to lock down your interest rate 3 months before closing. So basically next spring. So by then, you will have a much lower interest rate that you can lock into, which will make a big difference in your monthly payment. So if I will compare between pre-construction homes versus resale home, and if closing timeline, you have some room to work on a closing timeline. You can wait, let's say for 8 to 12 months or 10 to 12 months to for that new bill. I think pre-construction home have a much kind of a bigger benefit because it allows you to fully customize your home. All the upgrade costs are added to your mortgage. Also, your new home is under tear and warranty. So if there's any issues, it's covered under tear and warranty, and the builder will repair them. Versus when you buy a resale, if there's a leak, you have to repair that yourself. And then, the other reason is, you will have an extended period of time to save up for down payment, and you can lock in a good interest rate while your home's being built. And this is, like I said, this is a huge benefit when banks are cutting interest rate going forward, which is the environment that we are in. And most likely, um, interest rate and housing price have an inverse relationship, meaning when interest rate come down, housing prices go up because mortgage are more affordable, more people can come into the market and purchase. So if you look to lock in the pre-construction pricing today, you're very likely to enjoy a price appreciation in the home when interest rate count comes down further, and then when you're closing your home next year. So that's some nice buffer, nice equity and buffer to have when even before you move into your home. So let's talk a little bit about some more communities. Actually, before I move forward, any questions for me? Okay, great. If any questions, you're welcome to type that into the chat box there. So I want to talk a little bit about Windsor. We've been building in Windsor for the past 10 years, and we love it there. It's one of the best, comeback story of all time. Windsor used to be just one single industry, and now it's been growing to a very diverse economic region that has strong manufacture, logistic, tourism, agriculture, education, EV production. It is at the heart of a clean energy electrification plan that is a very strong initiative by the provincial government. And despite all of this growth, Windsor is still one of the most affordable city in Ontario. It offers one of the best weather. And often I have clients coming from Toronto. They're like, hey, it's just a lot easier to maintain property here. There's summer days are a lot longer to enjoy, and winter is very mild, so you don't shovel much. Um, so I think that's another reason we see a lot of young families, a lot of young couples moving down to this region. So it's a really great place to be. I want to talk a little bit about some of the investment that we're seeing from the provincial government, from the provincial, federal, and even a lot of the Fortune 500 companies. So these are the smart money that are coming to Windsor. The first major one is a $6 billion investment of Nexstar EV battery plant. So that's actually a battery plant already been completed. I believe they are already in test production and might be in full production later this year. So that creates about 2,500 new jobs. It is a joint venture between the appliances battery maker LG from Korea and the car maker Stellantis. So we'll be building battery packs and solutions that will supply throughout North American EV cars. So very, very exciting. The second very big investment is actually coming from the federal government. Is a $6.4 billion Gordie Howe International Crossing Bridge. So you can see this is the top little photo on the top there. So that bridge already been completed last year. It's been just under, I think, testing, and it will be on operation later this year. So we will have three crossing bridge, the Ambassador Bridge, the tunnel crossing, as well as this new international crossing bridge. And then there's also a $2 billion new regional hospital that's been invested by the provincial government. So that is under site plan control right now. I think that will take about 5 years, 5 to 8 years to build. So that will add additional hospital and healthcare facility to the region. There's also expansion from University of Windsor and St. Clair colleges. So very big growth in the education sector. We also have an Amazon fulfillment center. It's actually right across from a Central Park, Windsor. community. So I always joke with my clients, you don't have to worry about losing your delivery packages. The fulfillment center is right across the street. You can always, give them a call. Um, and there are also expansion of regional mall, Devonshire Mall to over 160 stores, investment on transit and Highway 3, lots of investment for trails, parks, community improvement plans. And a big point I want to point out here is the population growth. So in the past year, we've been seeing about 16,000 new residents per year going to Windsor. And you're probably going to ask that how many new homes were built last year? I think we built about 2,000 new homes in Windsor. So you can see there's a huge gap between the demand of new residents coming to the region versus the supply in our housing market. And that we believe to be that balance will continue to have that big gap. So I think in a way you can really consider this market as a seller's market where there's a ton of demand, new resident coming into the region. So we definitely have to build more housing. And if I were to pick, where I would, buy my first home, and if I do have the flexibility to move anywhere in Ontario, I will consider Windsor. I will consider a market where there are a lot of new residents and not a ton of supply, because that will create that healthy, strong growth in the housing market for anybody that purchase in that environment. So let's talk a little bit about our projects here. I'm, very excited to share. So our first project is Central Park Windsor. So this is a project that it's in Central Windsor. So let me just pull out the amenity map here. Yeah. So it's located in Central Windsor here. You are about 15 minutes to downtown University of Windsor, Caesar Windsor, and to the Ambassador Crossing Bridge. So a lot of the client that lives here, they work or they can commute to Detroit. And it's a very fast commute. So it's nice to, make US dollar and, spend Canadian dollar. And then the site is also very close to the expressway. So you could just take Central and get on expressway. And that will brings you to the new the new crossing bridge that was just built. So that gives you access to another part of U.S. market and very convenient. And you're also not far from the Windsor Airport, from Devonshire Mall, from all of the grocery and amenity that's alongside on Tecumseh Road. From the site to the waterfront, you're about 3 kilometers, so you can do a short run or short jog. And there's also a well-known world-class facility called Central Park Athletics. So in there, they have an indoor skating rink, they have a indoor soccer field, gymnastic training center, indoor baseball, and also rock climbing facility. So it's really great. It's really great for a family, for anybody, young couple that are very active. It's a great neighborhood to be. So in this neighborhood, we have, like I said, we're very close access to all of these amenities, the bridge, university, art gallery, Caesar Windsor, which is, that's where a lot of the concerts, entertainment center is for Windsor. And you can also drive across the street, across the river to Detroit. And then a lot of people would attend, concerts, sports game, there as well. It's super convenient. You're also about, I would say, like about 40 minutes to Detroit Airport. So a lot of the residents here, if they fly internationally, they will fly out of Detroit Airport instead of Windsor Airport. And then, it's almost like a domestic flight once you cross the border. So very convenient lifestyle for that border town city lifestyle. So let's take a look at Central Park Windsor. So this is a community actually where already has some of the homes completed. So you're not moving into the middle of nowhere. We still have some homes available, like on these lots or some of the bigger lots. I would say these lots, could fit Soho and our and our Astoria model. So these will be great options if you want to consider this community. And feel free to reach out to me. I'll give you a good deal on this. So very exciting community to be here. And then our home design, I'll just quickly go over them. So you have like 3 main designs, and I want to highlight our Soho model, which is very applicable and for a first-time home buyer. So it's about 1,900 square feet, 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath. I know often a lot of my buyers say, hey, I probably don't need 4 bedrooms, but I often say to my clients, when you buy a home, think forward. So think what would you need in the next 5 years, 10 years, and kind of invest forward in a sense that, I recommend to build additional kind of, space and capacity in your home so that you kind of have that home ready when you need that extra space for your family. So we built 4 bedroom home in this community. It's a very family friendly community. And then these homes are priced in the mid 900s. Now imagine, with the home, the HST rebate as well as the additional incentive that we could offer, you can really you can really bring that price down significantly. Another option I'd like to highlight is very popular design amongst our first-time home buyer and younger families is our Astoria model. So again, this is a 4 bedroom design, a little bit bigger, 2,100 square feet. It had that very like modern contemporary look, large window, very spacious. And all of our designs are, very open concepts. You're gonna come into this space and it will feel very spacious. Um, and one thing really cool I like about our design, we always have a pantry design. So, if you could put, some of your small appliances, some of the stuff you have in your kitchen, you could just put in your pantry and just really keep your, kitchen very neat. So I always, I always request for that pantry design. And usually when it comes to our bedrooms, we make sure all the bedrooms are very spacious. And we really give that master ensuite, master bedroom, that, that privacy, that exclusivity. So it's always facing the backyard. You'll get his and her closet and also get a nice big 5-piece ensuite. So you get your his and her closets, you get his and her sinks, glass shower, freestanding tub. So lots of space uh, in this. This is one of my favorite design in this community here. And then, of course, if you're looking for something a little bit bigger, we do have our Chelsea model, which is 2,700 square feet. This one's a 4 bedroom, 3.5 baths. So there's additional bathroom, very spacious layout. That this is also a great option. We typically see most buyers kind of use it as a move-up home, so this might be their second home. But again, this is something really great option to consider as well. So I want to quickly highlight some more interior design here. So this is actually one of the photos for one of our exterior design. So as you can see, you get nice finishes. Engineering hardwood floors, white trim, like premium. These high energy efficient windows. Those are all like included in part of our standard packages there. So you get very nice finishes for for our homes. So let's take a look at the price point here. So I think I mentioned, that these homes are starting from the mid 900s, and our deposit structure are spread over 8 months. So you're kind of helping you to save that down payment. You're kind of looking at about 10,000 or 15,000 per month. Now, if you need to work on the deposit structure in terms of further extend that, we can work with you on that. So you can reach out to me and we can figure out a deposit structure plan that works for you. So lastly, I just want to quickly mention the incentives here. So right now we have amazing phase 3B incentives where you get 9-foot ceiling on the main floor, engineering hardwood on main, glass shower, air conditioning, and you get $10,000 decor upgrades to go towards your home that you can add for, let's say, to upgrade your cabinets, to add great entrance to your basement. You can really customize a home to the way you like them. So like we're super excited. If you're interested in Central Park Windsor, reach out to me. I'll love to share more details with you. I also want to quickly highlight our other project, which is a Queens Valley Estate. So this is a community in Kingsville. Kingsville is located in 30 minutes drive south of Windsor. Let me just get you this map here. So it's kind of a boutique town. There's a lot of really great restaurants, parks, there's waterfront, there's winery, there's trails. So clients that kind of come into the community, they just love that small town feel. And being in Kingsville, we can offer much bigger lots at a much better value. So all of these lots are 65 foot by 130 deep, and homes are starting in the high 800s. So really, when you trade off a little bit at distance for that, for that interior exterior space, which we see a lot of young family likes that. So it's also very convenient. You can see on this location, you can drive to Kingsville for all the restaurants and cafes, or you can drive to Leamington for all your big box stores like Walmart, Canadian Tire, Superstore, anything you can think of that actually they're all available within that proximity. And then you're roughly about 30-minute drive to Windsor to the crossing bridge as well. So you also have access to that regional amenities from Windsor. So the beauty of having large community, kind of large front and backyard is you can do a lot of things with it. We have clients putting down like skating rinks, swimming pools, gardens, because you just have such a big, deep backyard. So this is something great to consider if you wanted, that space, but also at that affordable, at that great price point, high 800s for detached homes. This is something to consider. So I have a quick video I'd like to show you for the communities for this community here. So let me make sure it's here. Perfect. So yeah, as you can see, very exciting. Very exciting, kind of a boutique town that has everything and also have beautiful scenery. It's a really great place to raise a family. So let's take a look at some of the options we have in this community here. So our phase one it's very much sold out. We have one last home that's an inventory, quick closing home that's still under construction, and we can have that ready in about a month or so. That home is priced at $899,990. So if you're looking for something in the next 2 3 months, you want brand new, reach out to me. We have a really good deal for you. Um, Other than that, most of our availability will be on our phase two, so we'll be available along Sanita Avenue. So we have pre-construction lots available that you can build. These will take about 12 months to build, so you'll be looking at completion spring, summer of 2026. So we'll be, just in time when the interest rate will be pretty low and for you to get a really great mortgage by then. So here's some availability. I'm just going to quickly share the design options. So we have two kind of design. We have a bungalow ranch design, that everything on one floor. So for instance, this Victoria model is 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath, about 2,000 square feet in the high 800s to low 900s. We also have two-story homes. This one's a Brooklyn model. It says a 5 bedroom, 2.5 bath. We can make it 3.5 bath as well, about 2,500 square feet. So we also have great incentives on these homes, very similar to what we've seen in a previous community. So you get great packages, granite countertop, glass shower, air conditioning. You also get basement three-piece bathroom rough-ins and additional $10,000 decor upgrades that could go into your customization of your new homes there. So very excited to, if you're looking into building this community, we will love to, build your new home, your first home, ideally your dream home, for you in this community. And here's a quick look at the price point. Starting from high 800s, we also have, go up to 999. So all of these homes are under $1 million, which they will qualify for that maximum 5% GST tax rebate when you purchase. So very exciting time to be in this community. The last community I want to quickly go over is our Bevel town. So if you're looking for your first home, and I say if your budget is in the 700s, this will be a really great option. So this project, so Bevel town is located in Leamington, so it's about 40-minute drive 40-minute drive from Windsor. So this is where Bevel town is. Here, Bevel town, about 40-minute drive to Windsor. It's at a very nice location. It's next to golf course, Erie Shores Golf Course, which is an award-winning championship golf course. It's also very close to Leamington Marina and the waterfront park and trail. And there's also a dog park directly next to the community. So you've got pets, if you're thinking about having pets, this is a great place to be. Within, just north of the Leamington Marina, this is where the commercial street of Leamington is. So you have, all of your groceries such as Walmart, Superstore, Canadian Tire, Shoppers, all the stuff you can think of, it's available there. For tip, if you're into coffee, Starbucks, Tim Horton, they're all available on Erie Street. There's also really great healthcare. There's two main healthcare system. There's the Windsor Essex Community Health Center is actually a hospital. There's also Leamington Erie Shores Healthcare. So, even though it's a smaller town, you actually have all the amenities you need. And then you also have access to regional amenities in Windsor. Through a 40-minute drive, you have access. You can go to Detroit, you can go to the Crossing Bridge, University of Windsor, Devonshire Mall, and also Costco. So super convenient. And these townhomes are actually priced um, in the 700s. So these are 30 feet townhomes. We offer 2-story or bungalow design, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. And so you get full size, full front and backyard. And there's no maintenance or common element fee. The city will come and take care of snow clearing and garbage collection. So you don't pay that kind of that maintenance fee that you usually you have to pay for a townhome. You get your private front porch. You don't share a driveway with your neighbors. So it feels very much like a detached home. You get contemporary interior design, and then it's at a great price point too. So again, closing will be spring, fall of 2026. So plenty of time for you to save up your down payment and to plan for that, that closing, that move there. So let's take a quick look at the different design. So like I mentioned, so the way we design these townhomes, it's that you have your garage on one side and door on the other. So everybody have your own private, own private entrance. You're not sharing your front porch. You're not sharing your garage. And once you're in the house, other than you share a wall with your neighbor, it feels very much like a detached home. And by the way, these are 2-car uh, garage garage door, so you can park 2 cars in the driveway, 2 cars in the garage, which is perfect, perfect space for family, for young couples. Because a lot of time you get out there and look at townhomes, often they're just 1-car garage or maybe 1.5. So it's very rare you get to see 2-car garage. And we really, when we come to the home design stage, we really want to make sure that you guys get, the best value and you get the, 2-car garage, which is a lot more convenient for families. So let's take a look at the design here. So very open concept design. You get your kitchen, pantry, living, dining room area, very neat, everything in one kind of on that space. And on your second floor, you get 3 bedrooms, very similar to our previous design, where we really want to make sure the master bedroom gets a lot of space, gets a lot of privacy. So you're always facing backyard. You get a nice big ensuite, his and her sink, nice big glass shower, and you also get a nice big walk-in closet. All the other rooms are also great size. And also the other thing I like about it is the second floor laundry. So you can just, do your laundry on second floor. You don't have to bring that down to the basement, which is a common for a lot of townhomes to have a basement laundry instead. So we're really, like I said, going back to innovative design is really thought through all the details of the homes, how you're going to function, how you're going to use the space. I want to make sure this is kind of the optimal layout for families. And you also have option you can upgrade and add additional features to your home. Now, in terms of incentives, so you get 9 foot ceiling, engineering, hardwood on main floor, granite countertop, glass shower enclosure, air conditioning, basement 3-piece rough-in. We're also offering free appliances if you purchase by the end of, I believe, the end of May. So that's additional incentive that we could offer. So let's take a quick look at the pricing here. So starting from the low 700s, and then we have the interior units are low 700s, the exterior units are in the mid to high 700s. Deposit structures are spread over 8 months, so roughly about 10,000 per month. So very reasonable to help you to get to that down payment that saving for your down payment. And also, because you guys attended the webinar today, we're offering webinar special where you get a smart home package, appliances that include an Ecobee thermostat, smart lock, and a smart doorbell, all at the value of $1,000. You will also get $1,000 closing credit when you sign your offer before at May 31st. So that is a wrap for the presentation today. I'm going to leave my contact information up there for you. So our model homes are open on weekends. So if you wanted to pop in and take a look at the Victoria model, or if you want to come in and take a look at the Brooklyn model, you can come in on the weekend to our Queens Valley Estate model home. During weekdays by appointments, you can reach out to me and we'll get that arranged for you. Bevel Towns, we're very exciting. We're working on model home right now. We'll have that for you very soon. So, reach out to me if you like to, book a time to come and tour the model, or you want to learn more about our different communities. I'm here as a resource for you. Very often, let's say if you need contact for mortgage brokers, or even you just have some questions about buying your first home in general, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to be a resource for you on all of these items.